Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session, particularly on answering questions with data. So getting started with analytics. My name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industry and worked in this sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Kira. Kira is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all your questions via the instant chat just to the right there. You can identify the moderator by her name, Kira, as well as a little blue spanner next to her name. Okay. Now, before we actually get started, just 2 seconds whilst I quickly get this sorted. Just before we get started, I want you to think about, just a couple of things just to make sure that everything is working correctly for you. Firstly, if you're having any trouble viewing the webinar at any stage, please do try refreshing your page, okay? Which is very important. So at any stage, if you're having issues with that, please do that. That'll help you a little bit. The other thing is, if you would like to join the instant chat, I mean, the whole point that this is very interactive. You can be taking part, which is a great opportunity. So do please join us. You'll see on the bottom right that there is a chat over there, so you can take part. If, for example, you're not signed up with it, because you do need to be signed up, you can very easily do it. Just click on the box on the right there, just to help you. Okay, and we'll be pausing throughout the session, and Kira will kindly pass across some of the different questions to me so I can answer them as well. Okay, so that's the housekeeping done. And also, if you could please, when you're signing on now, if you could actually share with us on the chat where you're signing on from, that'll be fabulous. We've got already, I see. Welcome, Ahmad, from Pakistan. That's great. Great to have you here. Yes, you've already had two sessions with me. That's excellent. Aditi, welcome from India, and Alina from Pakistan, and Rima from Indonesia, and wow, from India. Excellent. This is great. So do keep. We've got now. I'm going to work on these pronunciations. Vaib have. From India, welcome. And then Lars Adrian from Norway. I've been in Norway, actually. I was there for just over a year for my company in Oslo. And Bianca Stefana from, Stefana from Romania. And then we've got Sadie from the UK. Welcome. Osama from Morocco. Excellent. Dark Sky from Scotland. I remember seeing you before. Anakin from Norway. Ada from the Netherlands. Danuja from Sri Lanka. And then we've got RF Des from Italy. Michelle from England. Christy from Albania. This is excellent. Darren from Singapore. Shania from Nepal. Fraser from the UK. Wow. We're doing well here. So many people. And then Revati from Germany. Excellent. Any more? It's wonderful to have all of you joining us from the different places in the world. Obviously, I've got to make sure I don't spend too much time on this, because, of course, there's all the other things we need to cover in this session. So I'm going to move onto the slides again. But if I see any more names coming up, welcome Darren from India. I will mention them at some stage. Okay, so moving on to this. Now, we're going to help you with these three particular areas, okay? First of all, of course, understanding the really important questions to ask about your online activity. Of course, understanding how we can make sense of online data to address these questions. And then also understanding how to use analytics data to understand what it tells us about our business. So, what are the right questions to ask? What are you really trying to achieve? What questions do you need to answer to help you achieve your goal? And then also, which reports can help you find the answers that you need? And then, of course, what are your next steps as a result? Okay, I'm going to help you and assist you with this, going through the different processes. All right. Now, there is a great opportunity. I'm afraid this is only at present for people in the UK. If you are part of a small business or a charity, one of us, of course, could be helping you and assisting you with mentoring. At present, I'm afraid it's only in the UK. Now, hopefully, obviously, this will expand to other countries and everything. But at present, it's only in the UK. But it's a great opportunity. It's totally free. No charge or anything. So great opportunity you can benefit from there. Welcome, Sweet from the Philippines. Excellent. So going back to this now. So asking the right questions. Now in this section, we are really going to look at the most important questions you should be asking and answering using data, about your business and in particular about how it is doing online. All right. Now, I'm going to introduce you here now to an overarching 4-step framework of getting answers from data. Okay. So first of all, getting the right answers involves asking the right questions, of course, and so the framework will help you and assist you with a full data session. So it's a framework for thinking about the types of goals or objectives you should be setting to measure the success of your business online. So what is my objective? What question do I need to address? Where do I get that information from? And what do I do with that information? Now, with my experience as mentor, and also consultant, I've often had people going, yes, I've got Google Analytics. Okay, excellent. So when did you last see it? And I was like, last week. Excellent. So what did you see last week? It looked good. Okay, great. So how did you manage to get that information to help you with the campaign that you are running at present? And often people go, I don't know. How am I supposed to do that? So it's kind of like, they get the information, they can see it and everything, but then it's, of course, using that information for the next ring of the cycle, the next steps and everything, to actually apply that information to help them and assist them. So we are going to covering all of those different things, including the what do I do with that information? Very important. So what is my objective? Of course, first we need to define what our objectives are. Now, there are many things you can track and measure using data from the internet. To a certain extent, you could say there's almost too much you can track and keep your attention to. But the point is, is looking for what you particularly need. Now, one reasonable question is, what is important to track and what is not? So your online objectives should tie in to what your business is really trying to achieve at this point. We cover defining your online objectives in our digital marketing strategy session, so don't forget to attend that one to help you. So if you would like to learn more about it, check out the schedule in the description below to see, when we're running it. You can see all the different webinars. And also Kira will provide you a link for the webinars to help you. Okay, so all right, so let's have a look. Just going back onto this. So these are possible ideas of what they could be. So tell more people about my business, sell more of my products or service, identify my most valuable customers, or find new ways to engage with previous customers. To a certain extent, you can see it's various steps along the process of the funnel and everything. Okay, so what question do I need to address? Okay, to get the right data, you've got to frame the questions correctly. Here we've got the funnel, and we've got something to help us. So the big thing here, we're using a RIAN framework. So it's a matter of reach, engage, activate, nurture, which is all steps along the line when you are selling your product. So so it largely depends at what stage you are at with your company and what you're needing to focus on. So the reach customers, or brings them to your website through various methods such as paid search, organic search, social media, and offline promotional activity. There's many different ways. So who is my target audience and how do I reach them online? Are they finding what they need with engage? And then are they actually booking? They activate, and then nurture. Are they coming back? So all of those different processes And of course, when they get to the website, the big thing is, are they finding what they need? Which is a very important point. Is your website search friendly enough to help them assist them find it? And then, of course, you need the activate, which actually means actually complete an action on the website that is important to you. It could be, buying something, but it could be as well, signing up to your newsletter, submitting a contact form, maybe downloading a PDF or some information about it or something like that. Or maybe even just the amount of time they spend on that particular page to show that they're probably reading it, that kind of thing. And then, of course, nurtures bringing them back again. So we've got reach questions here. So how are people actually finding me online? And then what are my target customers searching for particularly? Okay. Engage questions. What are people engaging with once they actually find me online? What are they reading? What are they really interested in? And which of my online communications are people engaging with the most? What really attracts them the most? And then we've got to activate questions. Which channels are driving bookings? So, what different things, what social media are they coming from? Are they reading an article maybe or maybe they're watching a video on YouTube? What kind of channels, are driving bookings, and who is my customer particularly? Building up a persona to an idea of who these particular people are. I think writing for social media, actually, we cover that a little bit, but certainly persona, that's a big element, and also social media. There's also a social media strategy I'd recommend as well. We talk quite a lot about persona, what you're targeting and all the rest. And then nurture questions, are my customers talking about my business online? Do my customers buy from me again as well, coming back for more? All right, excellent. So, and also Raven from the UAE, welcome. Great to have you here as well. So, having a look at this, and Ada from the Philippines. I don't think I did welcome you yet, but welcome here. That's great. So let's have a look. Are there any questions so far? I'm just going to check with Kira quickly. I'm just going to quickly get a quick drink of water. Keep me going here. Any questions on this first section, people? And of course, Kira will pass across some of the questions. I can see some of the questions as they appear on my screen. But any questions so far? No questions. No problem. So don't forget, this is a great opportunity to fire away with your questions. Kira's there to help you directly, answer the different questions. She will hopefully kindly pass them across to me. But it's a great opportunity. Do ask your questions, particularly to do with this topic, of course. Not other topics, but this particular topic. All right, so which tools to use? All right, to get the answers to actually use for, I don't know if you remember, the REAN questions: reach, engage, activate, and nurture. Those 4 points for the process. All right, okay, now, so let's take a look at the various tools so we've got here, where do I get that information from? So there's tools like, of course, there's Google Analytics. Now, some of you might have seen, oh yeah, great question there. Well, increase your business model using Google Analytics. Now, we will get a little bit more into detail to help you there, but I'll keep in mind your question. And Ahmad, yes, we'll talk about some of these different analytics tools. Now, don't forget as well, with social media, there is, with the social media platforms, there is an analytics on every single social media that you can use. And I highly recommend that you do use that and to assist you and help you. Now, analytics in itself is quite overwhelming with the amount of information that it's giving you. But if you do have everything based around a website, then it's quite useful to see how people are finding you. You can find out where your most of your channels are actually appearing, and which is really useful. So that's to help you and assist you, particularly on that side. By the way, Kira, is Control-Shift paste, Control-Shift-V will give you without the black background, just to help you. So that particularly, so we've got analytics. There's also AdWords. AdWords can help you as well quite a lot. There's now Google Search Console. I highly recommend. Just to give you an idea of Google Search Console, if you think of a spider, I know it seems a bit negative, but on a web, as soon as an insect lands on the web, of course, the spider can feel through the vibrations that an insect has arrived, goes rushing across, I'm afraid injects poison and wraps around the silk. Of course, Google doesn't do that, but it can detect through the web when another website appears on the internet. And then once it actually detects that it's there, it'll go across and find out as much information as they can about the website. Now, basically, what actually happens with Google Search Console, now Google Search Console, you are saying, this is my website. So it'll provide you all the feedback with your website, and it'll give you information, a lot of information as well. So that's Google Search Console. Now, again, of course, it's totally free. So do really take advantage of that, because they'll provide you a lot of information. They'll also give you some keywords of how people found the website, which is really useful. Okay, so I do recommend Google Search Console. There's AdWords. I mean, of course, you can register with Google Ads and you can use it. Particularly, it gives you access to Keyword Planner, Google Keyword Planner, as the most used search engine. It should be able to help you quite a lot. But yeah, so when you do register with Google Ads, when you go through the process, it seems to be pushing you into a campaign, but there is a way of getting out of it. You'll see on the first pages. But even if you do set one up, you can cancel it immediately without paying anything. So that's analytics, AdWords, Google Ads as well, Google Search Console, and of course there's social media platforms. Every single one has some form of feedback to help you and assist you. Okay. So that's to give you a brief run through there, Ahmed, some of the different analytics tools. All right. There's other third-party ones as well to assist you and help you. But just talking about those particular ones, those ones you start with at least. Okay. All right, the tools that we can use. So, of course, what I've sort of covered already here, we've got social media. You have things like, often it's called Insight, you know what I mean? So you've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Of course, all of those have feedback. YouTube has quite a lot of feedback as well. Got to remember it's modeled largely on Google Analytics version as well. So they've got a lot of information to help you and assist you, what's trending, that kind of thing as well. So, and also don't forget, you can also use a tool such as Hootsuite, which actually pulls together your social analytics across platforms, which is very useful. And you can check out your performance in paid search platforms, like Google Ads, as I was saying before. Of course, that gives you analytics as well. And then organic search like Google Search Console, which I mentioned as well, and Google Business Profile. Google Business Profile I haven't mentioned yet. Google Business Profile, you register your website, your company with it. Now, one of the things is a lot of people feel awkward about it, asks you address right at the beginning. Now, don't forget, when they ask you for your address right at the beginning, when you're registering your website, with Google Business Profile, it used to be called Google My Business. Now it's called Google Business Profile. When you're doing that, it is only asking for your address for Google to be able to send you a postcard to verify that it's your company. So it can be your own residence. That doesn't matter. Just make sure when you get onto the stage when you're filling in for the public, make sure you provide then a region. So you're not providing your own address to everyone, your own personal address. Okay. So that's one of the things, Google Business Profile. Another thing I'd recommend, I wouldn't recommend put your mobile number there unless it's an additional mobile number for your business, that kind of thing. It's often quite good if you have some form of separation between people answering. I mean, I must admit I do use Google Voice because you can set it so they'll ask questions first, and then I can see the answer, and then I can choose whether I answer or not. So there's things like that, many different ways you can do it. And then, of course, you can track every click made on your own website using Google Analytics, of course, which can help you masses. All right, so let's take a closer look at some of these different options. All right, so social media page insights. Now, of course, here you can find out what people are engaging with on your social media and how they're actually finding you. Okay, now, so social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube offer page insights or analytics, whatever it might be called, where you can actually see how people are really engaging with your social media and finding you. It's a super handy tool if you have a Facebook page set up for your business. Now, some businesses don't set up separate websites. So, social media might be your main way to engage with customers, okay? And then, of course, it is a free tool on all business pages. You measures all on-page activity, and it gets information about page fans as well. So just to give you a brief idea, you can see there, that's one with Facebook. I think there on the right, you can see some of the different graphs and everything there. Okay. In fact, I sometimes do this for fun when I'm giving the talk. Oh no, sorry, wrong button. Just 2 seconds. There we go. So you can now see it without me on the screen. So you can see it a little bit more detail. Page views, page likes, there on the left, actions on page, that kind of thing. All right. So that's social media page analytics, or insights, as it's often called. Then we've got Google Search Console, which I've already told you about. It's, of course, the free product. It'll give you feedback, integrates with Google Analytics, so you can see your Search Console data in Google Analytics. It'll give you a lot of feedback as well. You can see now a little bit more of the page. There you can see particularly there the keywords that they entered. Another thing it'll give you is technical feedback. Are you optimizing the images, for example? What that means is, are you actually taking it through the process of optimizing for the web, which is really just reducing the size of the image, things like that. It'll give you feedback on. Don't forget as well, now we used to have Test My Site. That has now changed to Page Insights. So just to give you an idea, it'll give you quite a good feedback on your whole website. But of course, Google Search Console can give that to you as well. All right, so Google Business Profile as a tool for organic search, insights. Now, this tool allows you to manage your online presence across Google Search and Google Maps. This is a big thing. Google Business Profile puts you on the map. This is a very important point. You can sign up and add the details that are seen about your business. Don't forget, the first address is for Google. It's not for the public, but make sure you look out for the one for the public. And if it's your home address you put for that, maybe just put a region. So for a closer look at setting up, this tool, check out Get Your Business Visible on Google session. We talk about that in quite a lot of detail. And Google Business Profile has its own insights that show you how well your business listing performs. Do people find you on a map, then click for directions, or give you a call? So all of these different things, which is very helpful. Okay, so that's Google Business Profile. Then, of course, there is Google Analytics. All right, so which we'll be looking at the next section. Okay, you can sign up for free. Now, most popular websites analytics tool. You can monitor every click on your site, and we will take a closer look at Google Analytics after I've answered a few more of your questions. And I'm ahead of time, actually, partly because there's quite a lot we need to cover in the next section. So let me just see now. Yes, there are some questions. Excellent, wonderful. So, Ahmad, suggesting any analytics tools. So I would have said particularly Google Analytics to get to know it. Now I'm going to go into more detail. That gives you massive information. If you're only on social media, of course, you can use Social Media Insights to help you and assist you. Let me see now what other ones there are. I can't remember. I can't think of any at the moment, but make sure, I suppose the biggest thing is start with where you're putting the information. Of course, Google Analytics obviously is based very much around, it gives you masses of information. The other side is things like social media. Look at their insights. Start with that. And if you do get a third party, that's absolutely fine. But the point is, make sure you compare them a little bit to make sure everything's verified and it's working according to the information you're getting. Wow. Okay. How to increase my business model using Google Analytics? That's a very good question, and that's quite a lengthy question. But we will be covering Google Analytics in the next section, and we were talking about the different versions. There is something I'd highly recommend, wow, to help you and assist you. There is actually Google Analytics Academy. If you can provide the link there, Kira, Google Analytics Academy. And I will be talking a little bit about that as we come up to it anyway, though. Then there's Vinay. So can I reduce bounce rate in a short time? That's a very question. I love the way you're saying in a short time. Well, it depends on many different factors. And don't forget that it takes a bit of time for the web pages to update. Now, you can check the last time they updated with Google Search Console. So what I'd recommend is once you've made the changes, go across to Google Search Console to see that, to help you. One of the big things, Vinay, is to make sure that people are finding what they're looking for. You can use negative keywords. Negative keywords are with a minus before them, just to sort of the technical words. But you're making sure that those people who are looking for something which is not in the same direction as what you're providing, making sure you're not attracting those people. Of course, bounce rate, just to make sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. Sorry, it's a bit of cough. Too much talking. One of the things with bounce rate is people go on your website, they spend about, I don't know, about 30 seconds or 20 seconds and come straight off. Or, you know, it's normally under 30 seconds. So you will get a certain percentage of bounce rates anyway. Now, a typical amount is 49%, 50%. Often you will find, I mean, obviously, if you're getting less, 23, 24, that's great. You're doing well. The only time I would say you really need to get particularly worried is if you're getting 75, 80, 85, then you know, there's a lot of people looking for, either they're looking for something which you're not providing, or what you provide is not set up nice and easy for them to take it in, because people have a little patience nowadays. Well, you know, all of us have little patience nowadays because there's so much to choose from. So it's just to make sure you're keeping those people. Hope that helps you, Vinay. Obviously, we're going to go through the process and places to look for different things to help you, all right? And also, of course, there's Google Analytics Academy to help you even further. All right. Yes. All right, I'll come to the next question, which is the next section. So I'll leave that for now. Let's move on to the next section now. You're very welcome, Vinay. All right, so let me move on to the next section. So using the data from Google Analytics. I see your question, by the way. I think it's wow. Yes, wow. But I'll be getting onto that in the next section, okay? So using the data from Google Analytics. All right. The big word is using it, putting it into, you could say, into a verb, not a noun. Of course, the information you could say is a noun, the verb is therefore you're going to do something about it. And of course, it's, you know, making sure that you're following through. Welcome, whoever it might be. Yes, by the way, my name is Benedict. I don't go by the shortened form, just so you know. I'll come back to that later. Okay, so let's move on to this now. So what do I do with that information? Now, this is very important. Of course, Google Analytics dashboard. Now, this is to give you an idea. When you first open up Google Analytics, if you are registered, and we'll go through the process of registering, so don't worry, I will cover that. It can be quite overwhelming because there's just so much information there. But, you know, don't worry. In this section, I'm going to show you where to locate the information to answer some of those business questions, okay? Now, analytics has its own language, so you don't understand any of the terms. Then if you don't, sorry, then hover your mouse over it and over the question mark beside them for an explanation, okay? For instance, you may see the numbers of visits is different from visitors because one person visitor has come back for multiple visits, for example. So another thing, you can discover who your users are by geographic location, discover how you acquire them visits and when they visit. You'll see there on the right, and let me just take myself off the screen just so you can see it a little bit closer. That is in fact the Google Analytics dashboard. Now, the whole point of a dashboard is you're taking information that you want to keep an eye on and you put it on the dashboard. Now, Google will have a preset one. It doesn't mean you have to keep by that at all. You can take some of it away or add some other stuff, whatever you want to do, reorganize how it's laid out. You can do quite a lot of the dashboard. Just so you know what it looks like, how do you find the dashboard? It looks like a little house with a little door. Top left, and you'll see it there. And you click on it, and then it'll give the dashboard. Now, don't forget, you can change that as to what you want it to be. That's the whole point, because obviously you're going to be keeping an eye particularly on certain things. And we will be covering some of the different addresses, or in other words, places where to find some of these things. But the point is you can put on the dashboard and you don't have to remember where to find it each time. All right, okay. So let's move on to this now. So how to set up a Google Analytics account. All right, so first of all, you go to analytics.google.com. You choose, typically you'll notice with the different addresses, which Kira has given to you already, it starts off with the actual, the name of the app, and then .google.com. So here, of course, it is analytics. So it's analytics.google.com. You choose a name for your account. Normally, of course, the name for your account will be the business name, and then choose, unless of course it's in your own name, that's absolutely fine. Then choose an industry category. What is the category? Sometimes it can be quite difficult to find the category because, categories are sort of set up and we follow by certain categories. I mean, mine is animation, or has been for a long time animation. Now I'm moving across to composing and compose for films, but it can be difficult to really sort of put down exactly what you cover because they are quite sort of generalized terms, but you've got to find the industry category there as well. Okay, so this is the setup process. Okay, all right. I'll move on to the next one here. Yes, one of the big things is to remember with Google Analytics, of course, it is anonymous, but it's an aggregate level to give you an idea of what, for example, your bounce rate is against others and that kind of thing. It is all kept anonymous. You will see sometimes it can't pick up any information. That means all the people who visit have got tracking turned off, so so Google Analytics can't get that information. So sometimes I'm afraid you will come across that. I mean, but the whole point is, just in the defense of Google Analytics, of course, obviously it's providing the information, but it is anonymous. You can't follow the person to their IP and go to the nothing like that. It'll give you the general demographics and all that kind of side. Okay, so where to find the tracking code now? Now we're going to start onto something which is quite important, because if you're registering from 2020 till now and onwards, you'll be registering immediately with something called Google Analytics version 4. If you registered before with Google Analytics, you'll be with Google Analytics version 3. Now, an important information I must give you is that halfway through this year, therefore June, July, I think roughly, I think you've probably been notified already, everything's going to be moved across to Google Analytics version 4, the most up-to-date version. I think there'll be a lot of complaints, a lot of hoo-ha about that, because of course a lot of people are very used to Google Analytics 3. Now, I'm pretty sure, Kira, thank you very much. You've got it there. Google Analytics Academy. She's given you there the Google Analytics Academy. Now, just to let you know, if you do the course there, which you see there with your screen and everything, that's to do the course with Google Analytics version 3. But if you are Google Analytics version 4, and I'll tell you how to find out just now, you will see there's an address at the top for Google Analytics 4. You click on that. That's for Skillshop, I think it's down as. It's totally free, but you can do the course and follow it, and it's quite nice. You get a certificate for that as well. But the point is, obviously, you go through the whole process, learn it, and then obviously, it's just really to use this as a tool to get the most out of the tool. Now, all right, if you are already registered with Google Analytics and you're not sure which version you're using, let me tell you how to find out. All you need to do, you can see there, in fact, on the screen there, there we go. You can see it's a kind of blue gear. I think people call it gear. I normally think of it like a cog. Bottom left there, you click on that. That takes you through to admin, all right? Now, once you're in admin, click on that. Count how many columns are in front of you. If there are 3, you are in Google Analytics version 3. If there are 2, you're in Google Analytics version 4. Okay, so 3 means you're in Google Analytics 3. 2 means you're in Google Analytics version 4. Just to help you, all right? Just so you know which side of the wall you're on at the moment. Of course, eventually everyone will be Google Analytics 4, halfway through this year. But just to let you know. Now, a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today is going to be based around Google Analytics version 3. We do have another talk, which is 45 minutes long, which is particularly on Google Analytics version 4. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, don't leave now immediately. I mean, obviously, we'll provide you a lot of information to help you and assist you, but this will be more geared towards Google Analytics 3. But, of course, as I'm giving this talk and I know about it, I will give you a little bit of both, okay? All right. So one of the things is, if you are with Google Analytics 3, you can see here, just to make it nice and clear, you go into tracking info and there's tracking code, and there you've got it. It's UA, and then the number there. That's Universal Analytics. That's the one that they use particularly. So that's with Google Analytics version 3. However, if you're with Google Analytics version 4, which you are if you're registering now, that's for sure, or recently, since 2020, you go into, you click on, it's under property, you go, which this one is, you'll notice as well, it's got the heading there, property. You go into the column of property and it's data streams. You click on data streams. Yes, I know I pronounce it slightly different from most people, and most people say data. I like to be different, so it's data streams. So click on data streams. You go through, you click on your website. If you've got more than one, you'll see, you choose which one you want to go to, and then it'll give you a page. And then the top right, I'm just making sure it's for you, correct side, but the top right, it'll say measurement ID. It's gone from tracking ID, which of course, tracking, the whole concept of tracking has got quite a bad name for itself. So we're changing to measurement ID, which is more appropriate and more PC as well, because it's what we're doing. We're measuring the number of people and everything. So it's now called measurement ID. And the measurement ID you need to have in the header of each of your pages of your website. Okay. Now, if you're wondering what on earth is the header, all websites, no matter what language, whatever they're written in, they always have a format, a structure where they have at the top the header, and the header is really information for the browser, which is you putting your pages and everything and your information there. Underneath, there's the body, which is the main part of the page, whether it's a home page or the different pages you have, and then there's a footer as well. So you've got to put that code into the header, like you can see over here in this example, UA54516892-1. You will be putting that into the header of each of your pages. Now, don't forget, with most builders like WordPress or Wix or Weebly or whatever you're having to be using, or Squarespace, you're going to have, there's so many builders. There'll always be some form of plugin that you can just put in the plugin, and it'll look after it for you. Now, one of the differences here is with Google Analytics version 4. Remember, you go into data streams, and there you get the measurement is titled as measurement ID, and that's what you put in the header of each of the different pages. You will notice as well, further down on the page here, you can see G tag. Now, G tag is very, very important for Google Analytics version 4. Excuse the pun, but it's very important for Google Analytics 4. So you must make sure you use G tag as well. All right. Okay. So that's, let me see now. So that's that side. Also, you will notice in some of the language which is used that Google Analytics 3 talks about sessions. Google Analytics 4 talks about events. It's the same meaning, but it's just different words there to be used. All right. And of course, Google Analytics 4 obviously is more advanced, and it is tracking much more mobile devices. I think there was someone who was asking at that point. I can't pronounce your name. What is your name? It is in Arabic, I think. Do introduce your name the way we can pronounce it, and then then we can talk to you. So that's to help you. All right. So that would be okay. Sambatik, welcome, Sambatik. So I'll try and remember that name when I come across your question again. So with the admin, so you've got with that, so admin tracking info, tracking code, but with Google Analytics 4 admin, of course, under property, it is data streams, and then you go for measurement ID. All right, so that's just to help you, and that's in the header of each of the pages, and of course GTag you need to sort out as well. All right, so far so good. So how to install the tracking code. Now, this is what I was talking about with the plugins. Remember, I said with the different builders, you always have a plugin. So you will normally have one where you just put in the Google Analytics, put it in there, and it'll put in the header of each of the different pages, which is really useful. Or else, obviously, if you au fait with coding, obviously you can do that quite easily. You can just look for the header for each of the pages, put it in there. So that's, for example, WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, often people are using whatever the builder might be. There's normally some form to help you. And of course, normally the plugins are free as well. Okay. So that covered, that's where you're going to be putting it. I kind of sort of talked about it quite a lot. Now, okay. Now, this is now getting the information and finding out the information, because now you've set up, we're presuming you've set up you put in that code in there into the head of each of the different pages, whatever Google Analytics version you're using. It's all there. It's getting you the information. This is working fine. So the next thing is getting the information, finding out the information, and using what you can with that. Okay. So now I'm going to have a look to help you with the feedback it's giving you. This is the areas of reporting. Okay. So all of Google Analytics, it always groups into four main areas. Okay. To help you answer those questions, that we mentioned before. And we're going to relate these across. So you will see these areas on the navigation screen on the left side of your home screen. All right. Now this is, again, you will see both for Google Analytics 3 and Google Analytics 4, but they're slightly different in their name, and I will cover that now. So we've got here with Google Analytics 3, we've got here with the audience, who are my users? Acquisition, how did they find me? Behavior, what do they do when on my site? What pages do they visit? How long do they spend there? This is where Google Analytics 4 changes. We don't use behavior. Behavior is concept of children in a class, at worst, monkeys in a cage. Now we've changed it to engagement because it's more appropriate. It's more PC. It just fits in better with what we're describing here. But with the old version, it is behavior. With the Google Analytics version 4, it is engagement. So what do they do when on the actual site? Then the next one is conversions. What are they worth to me? Now, conversions in the context of, we do still use conversions quite a lot when we're talking about the different things, but Google Analytics version 4, we call that monetization. With the English, if you are in the UK, the English S, which is quite useful. You might be, if you're in a different country and everything, might be using Z or S, but you'll see it there anyway on the screen, monetization. So what are they worth to me? All right, so now, of course, for conversions to work, goals have to be set up to track specific actions. Very, very important, okay? So once you've mastered the basics, this is really worth doing. Now, let me tell you why, because a lot of you have mentioned, for example, bounce rate, and I understand that is important. Make sure you're not bringing not reaching to the wrong crowd, or make sure that it's nice and search friendly so people can get around your website and get what they need and everything. They're not going to, just leave and, bounce rate increases and all the rest. I understand it's a very important thing, but don't forget, if you are selling, let's say you are selling, it doesn't have to be selling. It could be downloading a PDF, could be signing up for your newsletter, whatever, or could be spending quite a long time on a particular page nowadays. You can get quite specific. You can have those goals, you set those goals within the admin, and then when you do set up the goal, it adds another column to your feedback, because of course you've got the description of the different thing, and then you've got the metrics, which is a result of those particular things. And one of those columns is going to be the goals, and you can have the highest number of the goals right at the top. Therefore, to a certain extent, you can be following the success rate, because a lot of people, they kind of end up trying to solve this issue, so trying to solve that issue. But at the same time, it's quite nice sometimes to be able to look at the ones who follow through and actually buy the thing, or download the PDF, or sign up for the newsletter, or whatever it might be. Okay. Okay, and Google, of course, will then use that data and show you a series of reports. So goals are very important within Google Analytics. Just to, yes, what I was referring to before, I didn't quite get the first one there. The first one, we talk about the dimension, which is, we've got here, in the green there at the top there. So, of course, this is the way the information is laid out. So the first column is dimension. A dimension is an attribute of the customer's website visit. So, for example, if we find ourselves asking a which or a what question, is a dimension. So some examples include device type, city, age, gender, for example. A metric is a measure or count of something. Now, for example, if we find ourselves asking a how many question, that is metric. Okay, so you can see there in the blue on the right hand side. Gives you a nice clear idea. You can see the dimension. The top one, which is doing really well, seems organic search, which is great. It's quite difficult to get up there at the top for organic search. And then we've got referral, we've got direct paid search, social, affiliates, and also display. So all of those different things in the most popular to the least popular. So gives you an idea. Okay, now we're going to take Rian and we're going to use it to ask the right question. So we're going to run through the Rian questions we covered earlier in the session, and then map this to where we can get the information in Google Analytics to find answers. Now, with this mapping process, partly with the time as well, but I've got only a certain amount of time to cover this in this session. With the mapping, I will only really be covering Google Analytics version 3. I won't be covering Google Analytics 4. If you want to see where to map them for Google Analytics version 4, I don't know if we map that much, but do turn up to the 45-minute talk where we're talking about Google Analytics. That's a more up-to-date version where we're talking about Google Analytics version 4. Okay. The other side is, don't forget, please, there's analytics.google.com, which is, of course, Google Analytics Academy, and you can really benefit a lot from that. Remember, Google Analytics version 3 is the main part of the page. Google Analytics 4 is a link to take you off to another place to actually train for the Google Analytics version 4. Okay. All right, so let's see how we map all these different things. Okay, so how are people finding me online? All right. Now, as, of course, the question is about how people find us. Of course, you start with the acquisition menu. So how are people getting to our website? So this is the Google Analytics standard report under acquisition. So it's, you go Google Analytics, of course, that's what you're on. You go for acquisition, then you go to all traffic, and then channels report. And you can see there, I will make it bigger so you can see it. Acquisition there, channels, all traffic, channels. There we go. So you've got all the information there to help you and assist you. And here, of course, we've got actually in the result, just to show you again, organic search sends us the highest number of visitors with referral coming in second. You click on the link in blue, it will actually take you into the next level of data, which is really useful. You'll notice actually Google Analytics 4 is slightly different. You don't click and keep clicking on it to get more information. You'll find the information in other ways that you can, to a certain extent, program as well. Okay, so that's reach. Okay, so how are people finding me online? Now, if you click on the link in blue, it will take you to a deeper level. So if you're doing a lot of posting on social media with the intention to drive traffic to the website, then of course we can track it arriving from there. You know, referrals are often other websites that actually send traffic our way. So we could investigate them and see them where we can strengthen our relationship with them. So that's, if you have those three things, which terms are driving organic traffic, you can learn from that and maybe improve the ones which aren't driving organic traffic, and then look to improve links from social media platforms, and then developing relationships with referral websites particularly to get support even more. Okay, that's some examples, some ideas of what you could do with the information. Engage. Now, what are people engaging with when they find me online? Let's have a look at this. So we go here now for Google Analytics, behavior, site content, all pages. Let me just give that to you nice and clear. Well, as clear as we can make it. It's quite small still, but you're going to Google Analytics, you go for behavior, site content, all pages. All right. Now, this is about what people do on the website. So find the answers in the behavior section, behavior, site content, all pages. All right. Okay, we can tell from the metrics in the columns running left to, and of course you can see as well what is the most visited page to the least visited page, all of that kind of stuff. So what are people engaging with when they find me online? So what we do with this information, we could learn which pages are not getting any views, maybe improve it, change it, so people will discover what is really engaging to our visitors, and discover what that we could be discover that we lose a lot of people at the payment page. If you lose a lot on the payment page because, you know, this page might need to be simplified, reduce fields to fill, or maybe things like offer more services, you know, that they can buy it nice and quick and easy. Okay, for example. And of course, if you get lots of traffic to a page but a high bounce rate, then, you know, we need to check if we're showing them what they want to see. You know, when we actually get them, this might be a reason for the bounce rate. Okay, so using Rian to ask right questions. So which channel is driving the most bookings? Activate is about people, of course, getting people to take the action we want them to take. It could be as easy to understand as a sale. Now, if we don't sell online, it could be ringing us up in order to book, downloading a white page, or filling the contact form. So which channel is driving the most bookings? Okay, let me just take myself off again. So we've got here acquisition, all traffic channels. Okay, again, it's to do with people, so that's why you're going on to that one. And we're talking about registration and translating them into table bookings. Okay. All right, now, so what you could do with this, identify which referring sites drive conversions. For referring sites bringing good quality traffic, can we develop a partnership, and look out for underperforming referring sites and consider reviewing the partnership. Okay, and then nurture. Are my customers happy to leave a review? So what, you know, very important. So are my customers happy to leave a review? You go to conversions, e-commerce, customer reports to really help you and assist you there. And then you could get genuine feedback from people we know have bought our products. And of course, a lot of this you have to set up with goals, remember, with this particular section. And then respond to all reviews, good and bad, and try different ways to encourage purchasers to leave a review. You know, what works best? Do more of that, particularly. Questions? The last section. A lot covering there. So can the Google Digital Garage specialization course, in fact, yes. Oh my God, have we got another? Oh no, we just got next steps. That's fine. Sorry, just me checking. Can the Google Digital help to make my online business better? Yes, I think so. I hope so. I think that's is it Sabatik? Sambatik. Yes, you can. it'll help you with different things, what works, what doesn't work, just to give you an idea to help you, Sambatik. Can you provide examples for mobile apps? Examples for mobile apps. Don't forget, Google Analytics version 4 will help you a lot more with the mobile side. As regards mobile apps, of course, you will be following them. Often people will be on the mobile, often when they're checking these different things. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. That's quite a big, deep question. Don't forget, if you are in the UK, you can book for a mentoring session. I'm afraid not if you're not at present. Dark Sky. So what does it mean if Google Search Console tells you your site doesn't have enough usage data? Yes, what's actually happening is there's a lot of people blocking tracking, and that's why. So there's so many, the majority of the people are actually blocking it. It could be a reason, or there might not be just because there's not enough people visiting, so there's not enough usage data that they can actually collect and use. Hope that helps you, Dark Sky. AI Prodigy on my analytic account, I have 2 properties for the same website. Both provide different data. Yes, good question, a very good question. You will sometimes see certain information, and of course, you want to go into as deeply as possible. Sometimes you need to check that you're whitelisting some of your own, for example. That could be a reason. Sometimes some places have more access to more data as well. Obviously, they all try to track everything, but that might be a reason why you're getting a slightly different feedback. Obviously, look into it as much as possible. Do ask Google Analytics. Do ask, the division, particularly division, to do with that, and and give them examples, screenshots to help them. Hope that helps. Do we have to add the tracking ID to the mobile apps? Yes, absolutely. Because don't forget, though, with the different mobile apps, how can I put this? I mean, of course, this is still a website, isn't it? So you're going onto the actual particular, so you can be doing the tracking, of course, with your website, which can be seen on the mobile as well as a desktop. I hope that helps you a little bit. Let me see now. Harris. Hello. Is there a link or a schedule for the Google Analytics version 4 sessions? Yes, if you check out, I think, no doubt, yes, the webinars. Oh, okay, you couldn't find nothing listing. Don't forget that if there's not one at the moment, there will be one which will come up. Sorry if it's not there yet. Just watch it regularly, and eventually it'll turn up. Kelly, is there any way to discover Google Maps and console without having a domain or an actual business? You don't have to have a domain to have a Google business profile. You don't have to have one. A domain or an actual business URL, such as the demo account for Google Analytics. I have seen people setting it up when they had a domain on places where they were selling, things like that. You can use it to a certain extent like that. Check out and try out those different things. I hope that helps you, Kelly. I just need to watch the time. Okay, so what are your next steps? All right, the big thing here now, there's a lot to take away, a lot to take on board and everything. But so don't forget, free one-to-one mentoring session. Of course, this is, I'm afraid at the moment, only in the UK, but do take advantage of it. You've got the link and everything. Kira will provide you with a link. All right, everyone, thank you for all your questions. That's absolutely fab, your contributions and all the rest. I tried to cover as much as possible. There's some questions, of course, which is a little bit more complicated, where I can't, because of the time, cover everything I would obviously enlarge on. But I've tried to assist you in the time given as much as possible, as has Kira, which has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Kira. So thank you for all your questions, your contributions. We're going to wrap up here as we are out of time. I hope that has been a useful dive into answering questions of the data today. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you are interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, there are a few ways to continue learning, we are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. Sometimes if they're not showing up, they will. Just keep checking. If you'd like to check out the schedule of webinars, please see information on this in the description below. And also Kira has been providing you with it. There'll be different topics available to watch, and you could be updating. And we will be updating the schedule regularly. Also, if you'd like to carry on learning online in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses, which are available to you 24/7. It's down below, and Kira will provide you the link there. Now, the big thing about that, there's one, Fundamentals of Digital Marketing. I'd recommend. It's very long, about 20 hours, but it's not in one sitting. Many little videos taken by Gauri, head of our division, and also Sarah is Google in London. So it's really good, really helps you and assists you, covers all the different digital marketing. And finally, if you have any feedback or questions on today's session, provide them now on the chat. That's the whole point of it. But if you want to go even further, there's team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, also at the bottom of the description below. So I want to thank everyone, for joining today, contributions, questions, and everything. I want to thank Kira for being absolutely fabulous. And we really do look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.